UFC 306 is coming up next weekend, and today, guys, I have the complete betting guide for you with timestamps if you'd like to skip to any part of the video. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels, and welcome back to another complete betting guide. We're going to go through confident picks, underdog opportunities, fights that I do not believe you should be betting on, my personal lock of the week, and then we're going to get into a little bit more of a fun part of the video. Like I said, timestamps are there if you'd like to skip to any part of the video, guys. We're going to get into that in just a second. I don't know if you can hear me deep breathing through my mic, but I apologize. My allergies are absolutely destroying me. So we're trying to get through this right now. But anyways, let's get started with the confident picks over here. The first one being Raul Rosas Jr. Guys, it is also important to note that I'm giving a very brief reason as to why I think these fighters are going to win. I have an entire full card breakdown already out. If you guys are interested, you can check out, like, I dive into as deep as I can get with these fights. So if you're interested, go check out that video. But long story short, guys, Raul Rosas Jr. has been given a little bit more of an easy route since his loss over to Christian Rodriguez. He's gotten 2 wins since then, and Curio Lang does have a little bit of a weakness on the ground. That's what the UFC wants, the Raul Rosas Jr. to come in and get the win. They want to build him up as a new star, especially for, apologies for pronouncing this wrong, Noche UFC. They're going to want him to get the win. So him being such a big favorite makes a lot of sense to me. Let's continue on over to the next fight. I have Joshua Van for you guys. Now, there is one little important note here. Joshua Van just took a pretty big KO just over a month ago. So assuming that he's totally okay and ready to go, I think Joshua Van is going to be a better striker than Edgar Chairez. And Edgar Chairez is a great fighter, don't get me wrong. He's on a little bit of a roll, I guess you could say, but I think this fight's going to be primarily on the feet, and I think Joshua Van is just going to be the better fighter. The only worry that I do have is, again, he just got knocked out and he's coming back really early. But other than that, assuming he's okay, I think that he's just going to be the better fighter there. A little bit more of the same reason for Daniel Zellhuber, which is my next confident pick. Esteban Ribovics is great. I'm very, very high on him, but Daniel Zellhuber has been making noticeable improvements every single time that we see him. And again, I do believe that the UFC will want fighters like Daniel Zellhuber to win. So if it's a little bit closer and it goes to decision, I would imagine they're going to lead a little bit towards that way. But I also just think Daniel Zellhuber is going to be a little bit better on the night. I'm really, really high on Daniel Zellhuber as well. Now, let's get into my final confident pick over here, and that is going to be Alexa Grasso. After the last fight that they had together with Valentina Shevchenko, I find that Valentina Shevchenko is, I don't know if it's a motivation issue or if it's an age issue out of your prime, but I don't believe Valentina Shevchenko is the same fighter that she was even the first time that she fought Alexa Grasso. She's finding herself in so many bad positions that I don't think that Valentina Shevchenko would have found herself in just years ago. And Alexa Grasso still in her prime. The UFC is going to want her to win. It's going to be a big event for her. They're going to want her, and I would imagine they're going to have that belt for Alexa Grasso as well. So everything's being set up for Alexa Grasso to win, and I just do think that she's going to have more grit. She's in her prime. Valentina Shevchenko is no longer in her prime, and I really am feeling good about Alexa Grasso getting the win. Now, guys, let's move on over to some underdog opportunities. These are fighters that are not necessarily picks of mine. They're not fighters that I'm personally betting on, but these are fights on the card that if we saw a major upset, I would not be shocked at all. So if you're looking for value for your bets, I do like these two underdogs. And one that actually, to be honest with you, is a pick of mine is going to be Norma Dumont. I don't know about anybody else, but I was shocked to see Norma Dumont as an underdog. Reeti Aldana, like, she has some striking that could get the better of Norma Dumont a little bit, but I think Norma Dumont's just going to be the better fighter in there. Is anybody? I don't know. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, but I just think she's better. And she's sitting at over a 2-1 underdog last time I looked. I think that's crazy personally. So Norma Dumont, I'm not only here saying that she's an underdog opportunity, I think that she's straight up going to win. The other underdog opportunity I have for you guys is going to be Ode Osborne. I know. He hasn't looked good in his last 5 fights, I would say. Well, he's had a couple moments where he's shined, but we obviously seen a clear path to victory against Ode Osborne, that being the ground game. But I always have thought that Ode Osborne is a very underrated fighter. I believe this fight is going to remain on the feet. And if that's the case, Ode Osborne is but he definitely has a better shot than somebody who's just going to chain wrestle him. He's a fantastic striker with amazing power for the division. And I do believe that Ode Osborne can get the win over here against Ronaldo Rodriguez. So that's an underdog opportunity that I actually don't mind, to be honest with you. Now, there are a few fights, in my opinion, that you should not be betting on for some of them are just close fights, but I'll tell you why I don't believe you guys should be betting on these fights. I'm personally staying away from all of these myself. The first one being Manuel Torres versus Ignacio Bahamondes. I think these are just two great fighters. I think they're going to come in, they're going to bang it out, and I have no idea what's going to happen. Very, very simple with that one. I just think they're great fighters, and it's going to be difficult to pick one way or the other. The next one I do not believe you should be betting on is going to be Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopez. Another one of those fights where it's tough to gauge where Diego Lopez sits in the division. Plus, if you want to take a look at Brian Ortega, just look, everybody was counting Brian Ortega out of his last fight completely, myself included. I ended up betting against Brian Ortega in his last fight, and look what he did to Yair Rodriguez. Now look how we're feeling about Yair Rodriguez. The same kind of thing could happen to Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez has looked fantastic since he came into the UFC. Absolutely fantastic, but there's no question that he hasn't faced anybody besides Movsar Evloev, which is a short notice opponent. He hasn't faced anybody of the likes of Brian Ortega. It's a little bit difficult to gauge where Diego Lopez is in the career right now, and for that reason, I'm personally going to stay away from it. We can see I know the fans are going to say fraud check, but it's not going to be a fraud check. You could see that, or you could see Diego Lopez do the same thing that he's been doing and just steamroll through Brian Ortega. Now, guys, the last fight that I do not believe you should be betting on, and I might go against my own advice over here because, honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, everything in my gut is saying to bet on O'Malley, but I don't believe it's a smart idea to bet on this fight, okay? We just don't know. It's just a really tough fight. Is Sean O'Malley going to be able to keep it on the feet, and is he going to be able to knock out Merab Dvalishvili, or is Merab going to come in and do what Merab does and just make Sean suffer? It really is that simple, to be honest with you guys. It's a very, very difficult fight to predict, and the odds have been showing it. They've been bouncing around from a Merab to Sean O'Malley to a pick'em. Been very close for a very good reason. I do not believe you should be betting on this fight, besides like maybe round lines. But even that's a little bit risky, because what if Sean catches him? What if that cut opens up? I don't like it, but I will be honest with you. I really, really, really do want to bet on O'Malley, but I don't know if I should take my own advice for this one, because it's a very, very risky fight to bet on. Now, guys, before we get into Lock of the Week and continuing on with the video, if you guys are interested in either supporting the channel or seeing where I put my money where my mouth is, you can check out the channel membership. Very cheap compared to other channels. Every single Thursday or Friday before an event, I'll be posting a community post for members only and a members only video diving into exactly what fights I will be betting on. So if you guys are interested in either supporting the channel or combining my fight knowledge with your own research, you can check out the channel membership in the pinned comment description down below, or right next to the subscribe button. And also, guys, this tool that we're going to be using to take a look at props, there's a tool called OddsJam. If you guys are interested in signing up for OddsJam and checking it out, we use OddsJam on the full card breakdown videos. Fantastic if you have multiple sports books. You can get a discount over there by using my link in the pinned comment description down below and using code Clenbat. Thank you very much for listening, guys. Let's get into my personal lock of the week. The fighter of the card that I do believe has as close to 100% of winning as possible is going to be Yasmin Yorgui. Guys, she's taking on Ketlin Souza. Again, like I was talking about with fighters like Raul Rosas Jr., guys like Daniel Zellhuber. First of all, the UFC is going to want them to win, especially at this big event. But I do believe that Yasmin Yorgui is just going to strike her way to a decision. I don't know if she's going to finish Ketlin Souza, but I was left with the last couple of performances from Souza, a very sour taste in my mouth, because she lost to Karita Silva, and that's a good loss to have, to be honest with you. But she lost to Marnik Man, too, who's arguably the worst fighter in the entire UFC. Or I didn't mean to say she lost. Sorry, I didn't mean to say she lost. She beat Marnik Man, but she let Marnik Man have moments against Ketlin Souza, and I really, really didn't like that. You should not be letting Marnik Man have any moments against you whatsoever. If you're suffering in the striking department against Marnik Man, I don't know what's going to happen against Yasmin Yorgui. I think she's just going to beat her up for 3 rounds. She's got the judges on her side too. I like Yasmin Yorgui a lot in this fight, and she is my personal lock of the week. Now, guys, let's move on to a little bit more of a fun part of the video, because it is really, really early, so not all of these props are out yet, but I want to take a look at what some props are that we can take a look at and see if there's anything that stands out at the moment. So you can see right now you have over 3.5 rounds for the main and co-main event. We're using OddsJam over here, by the way. They're very, very early with all the props. I want to click on one just to see if we... Okay, well, there we go. Yeah, it's only the over and under round for that. Oh, okay, no, we have 4.5 rounds too, which is very, very interesting. I don't mind that. Over 4.5 is minus 190 for the average odds. That I actually don't mind for the odds that they're at, but it's still not something I would really like to hit, to be honest with you, because if you guys follow the channel, you would know that I'm a big, big fan of over 1.5 rounds, especially for women's fights. But it's a little bit tough. It's a little bit tough. Let's see what else we have on over here. We have Diego Lopez over 2.5 minus 117. That's going to be a tough fight. Sometimes when you have two really, really tough fighters like Diego Lopez and Brian Ortega, they don't end up finishing each other. So I actually don't mind going for a decision for that one, but still, minus money, I don't really know. Now, Joshua Van versus Edgar Sherez, over 2.5 rounds. No, I don't like that either. Manuel Torres, Ignacio Bahamondes, no thank you. Esteban Ribovic, Daniel Zellhuber. The under is plus 148. It's possible that you can find a finish in that fight. But as of right now, no props really stand out for me. I can't imagine what this is going to be, but Norma Dumont versus Reeti Aldana, I can see going over 1.5. I don't know. I'd have to really pay attention to these props that we're having. Now, let's get into a little bit more of the fun part of the video continuing on, guys, because let's see if we can make some fun parlays going on over here. So let's see. Let's just make some picks over here and see what we can get over here. So Daniel Zellhuber, and again, guys, this is a little, like I said, it's a fun part of the video. It's not like diving into, I'm not saying to make any of these parlays. Let's just see what we can come up with. So Norma Dumont, Ignacio Bahamondes, Raul Rosas Jr., stay away from that. Yasmin Yoragui, stay away from that. Alexa Grasso, Sean O'Malley. That's 25 times your money, but with a parlay this long, something is absolutely bound to go wrong. I always wish, and I say this all the time, guys, I always wish that we could find out the props really early. I don't know why they take so long to come out. So a couple parlays that I don't mind actually is like Daniel Zellhuber and Yasmin Yoragui together. That's almost 2 times your money, which I actually don't mind at all. Alexa Grasso, ooh, if you want to do a riskier one, you could do Sean O'Malley. Oh, excuse me. You could do Sean O'Malley and like Raul Rosas Jr. That's not too bad together, but I still like that's tough. An underdog parlay you could do, like underdogs that I don't mind, is Norma Dumont. You could do Ode Osborne. And that's tough, man. That's tough. Just them together is a ridiculous payout. But for most of these fights, I would personally sit at a bunch of single plays. Like if what I'm considering is Sean O'Malley, I would just play that money line as is. I wouldn't add anything to it. I'm a little bit more safe when it comes to betting. Now, guys, let's move on because there isn't really too much to do with the parlays over there. I haven't been able to do a betting recap because as you guys have been following the channel, you might know that I have been away recently. So I wanted to cover the last 2 cards for betting results that we have over here on the channel. And the one that we have that we missed was the Kyle Baralho card. First of all, we ended up, Edmund Shabazian letting us down again for the fun parlay. But to be fair, the fun parlay is completely for fun. I never expected to hit. It's a little bit more of a long shot. But 2 weeks ago, we had a nice clean sweep. We have Shamil Muziev to win, Michael Morales to win, and Kyle Baralho to win. A little bit of a small size bet. And then we have this past card where we got a little bit more unlucky. But I did say that this card was a landmine. That's why I was only playing with 0.25 units. Vanessa Demopoulos, the only reason that I ended up betting on her was because I got her at about a 4-1 underdog, and I thought that the UFC was just going to give her a close decision. So I thought that was worth taking a stab at. Ended up getting cheated out to get the loss there. Rongzu was very disappointing because he was dominating as expected, and his eye blew up. So had a little bit more of an unlucky bet right there, but then we also had another single bet for Sean Brady to win. That ended up hitting. So guys, thank you very, very much for sitting through the video. I'm sorry if you can hear my deep breathing through the mic. My allergies are absolutely killing me right now. I hope you guys have a profitable weekend. Let me know what you think about the picks. If there's anything that stands out to you, I would love to know what you think down below. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. In the meantime, check out this full card breakdown where we dive as deep into this card as we can possibly get. I will see you guys over there. Take care, everybody.